Hello, and welcome back to Factorio Space Age. I haven't waited as long as I was going to wait, so I'm kind of bopping in here while Aquilo is expanding itself, because I had a thought. Aquilo, as it expands, is going to be limited by its robot supply. So I thought I would grab hold of this stuff, and we would make an auto-expanding robot supply there on Aquilo. Let me work out a slightly better blueprint. So we need to be friendly with the Aquilo grid, and we need to be friendly with, we are, oops, let's see this. I want that one at the bottom. We need to be friendly with the Aquilo grid and the heating. I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to separate these two by a little bit so we have some power in between. How do I want to do this? If I've got us straddling one of the heat lines, like that, that works pretty well. It definitely keeps everybody heated except for this one guy over here. And I can just put you in like that. Oh, let's add some more stuff. I've been just progressing my infinite sciences, whoever's lowest. So we're doing the 3s now. So that looks like a decent blueprint that I can put into place on Aquilo. I don't want to start flooding the network with bots because then it will flood the power with charging the bots. So I'm going to set this down to 1 here. So for each R coming in, R is the number of roboports. We'll get 1 robot per roboport. And that's significantly less than what we have now. I can adjust R once I've got it in place, and we'll tune it up a little bit at a time while making sure that we actually have the ability to do things, well, actually have the power to run everything. So I need someplace to put this. Kind of somewhere central, but not too. I can slip it in here. That's not too bad. And I'm thinking that let's make sure Aquilo is getting delivered the flying robot frames. Yeah, I'm going to increase that to 300 frames per trip. What else? Oh, I am creating all of the Mark III modules on Nauvis. Let's start exporting those. How about 100 per trip of each one? Potentially, we're going to want, I'm not going to do quality. My thinking is that Aquilo has some things going on, some mechanics that are much more complicated to compute. So it's going to hit my UPS pretty hard. And I went out and researched it, and yeah, that's correct. And the way you keep UPS from going too bad on Aquilo is you keep your heat pipes shorter. You try to limit the number of active entities by using modules and so on. And you try to get away from robots. So as we expand our base, we'll have that in mind. We can't really get away from robots yet, but we're going to be expanding the base in ways that maybe don't do that. So here's my plan. Trains. As it turns out, I can send a train to a remote base and have it pick up stuff. Now, we can't use the train to get power out to it. You know, we could send stuff out there, but we would still need, you know, something out there to generate the power. But what we can do, if we run the power out normally, is I can have the train drop off some rocket fuel into a heating tower, and we can use the heating tower to keep the temperatures up. How is that going to work? Well, turns out that burner inserters don't freeze. So we can have a burner inserter grabbing fuel out of the train, out of a train car. We don't want to have the train itself ever be pulled out of, ever be emptied of fuel. So it'll fuel itself, and then we'll fuel the heat pump. Actually, I'll probably put that in a box and then fuel the heating tower from the box conditionally. And that will keep everything warm. Ammonia. We build ammonia from basically pumping it out of the ocean, and you get the ammonium solution and you turn out ammonia and ice. So all we need to do is wherever we need ammonia, just have a way to get the ice out, and we're fine. And I can reserve space on the train for bringing ice back to the main base. Then we make some solid fuel. That's actually also simple. Each one of these steps is fairly simple to make on its own, especially if you have stuff from before. Fusion power cells are simple. The hot fluoro, a little more complicated to make, but we've got all the rest of this stuff coming in first. So we deliver the ingredients, we make the hot fluoro somewhere, we bring it back. And then quantum processors, we're starting to get complicated here. And out the bottom, we build our fusion stuff. So I'm going to go fusion powered on Aquilo, just to make sure that it works. And once we get that running, we can then make some more fusion reactors and fusion generators and put a fusion power system on a platform. Now, there is a startup issue. With nuclear, you had to have some startup power so you could put the nuclear fuel in the reactor. With these guys, the reactor itself needs 10 megawatts to start up. So, yeah. 10 megawatts per reactor to get them all going. Or you get one of them going, and it turns out some plasma, which gets turned into electricity, and that's enough to get other ones running. So we're going to work out how to put that on a platform and what we need to do to kickstart it all off. Anyway, we're sitting here, we're waiting for what on Aquilo? We are waiting for Aquilo to send us science. That's normal. So yeah, basically we park over Aquilo, and when he gives us science, we go run around and bring more stuff back. And we also leave after 2 minutes to run around and bring more stuff back. So it's not that we wait there forever. So we should be getting deliveries of Mark III modules and robot frames. And we now have these guys. I think what I'm going to do, I may put resident robots in the other roboports as well at some point. Thinking about UPS though, once we get this built, I'm going to tear up the heat pipes and power and roboports, so we'll just have a flat plane of buildable area, and then we'll extend out into that area as we need to, and we'll put in just the heat pipes we need, just the power we need, and just the logistics we need as we go. So that'll pull things up like crazy. Anyway, so that's got that. And I can tear this down. Oh, I was going to tune up my robot stuff so we actually got some robots here. Currently we have 239 logistic robots and 100 construction robots. And here we see we have 57. So if I go to 5, that'll bring them both up to 285. How about I bring this up to 10? So that'll get me up to 580 robots in my robot network. Let's put efficiency modules in you guys. There we go. Now, I'm not really sure what else I want to do here, but I did want to get in and get that going because having more robots will mean I can construct this faster. It means I can deliver the materials faster. Now, logistics, it looks like we are not moving materials very fast. So let's take a look at what's going on here. These guys aren't building. Why are these guys not building? We have no ice platforms. We have no ice. So we're waiting on ice. We're waiting on ice. It means that these are full. I have an alert that should be going off if these are full. 21 of 25K. These should be running. Why are these off? Okay, these guys are all stopped because it's conditional on the amount of ammonia being under 12K. The theory there is if we get up to 12K ammonia, then we should be pulling in ice from elsewhere. And I don't think I have ice imported. I think that was probably a bad idea, so I am going to turn this off. So this does mean that we won't automatically be doing anything with these guys. Now these guys say if we have any ammonia at all, we are going to be requesting in ice. Oh, well yeah, we have no imported ice. Okay. So what's going to happen is, if we don't have imported ice, eventually we will stop up. These particular guys are not set up to do anything with the ammonia. But I can reach in and delete all the ammonia, which will allow them to start chunking. We'll just have to do that periodically. Now when these fill, we will get this klaxon going off, and I'll have to come back and take care of it. But you notice that on Aquilo, the big thing that it needs right now is ice platforms. Everything else it's building. Let's go look at our other planets. As long as I'm here, that's all really I wanted to plan out. I could start looking at fusion designs. Yeah, we could do that. Start building a platform with provision for fusion on it before we've made any fusion generators. I think that's a recipe for disaster. I can't really make fusion components until I've got Aquilo up to where it can produce that stuff. Anyway, what is going on here? On Nauvis, we're basically idle. We are producing modest amounts of science, no doubt. Okay, so we suddenly got in some requests for copper cable and stone and all of that because we made some things. We've started to export the Tier 3 modules. That's good. I think we are running well here on Nauvis. Let me do a quick check around. We've got stone here, which is being delivered from the other mine. We did that. That was something I did off camera. It's real simple. Might as well take a look at it here. It's exactly what you expect. I've got my standard miners. I have put productivity modules in every one so that we're stretching the content of this. I don't care how fast they are. They're producing tremendous amounts of stone, which are going to go into these boxes and wait. And we're going to bring it up here. We are going to turn out brick, and we've got brick and stone coming out. I am not sure why I've constrained the stone to be like that. See, transport belts. We're using blue most. Oh, right, because we really only are making half a transport belt worth of brick. That's okay. We'll continue to do that. I wouldn't want to put a full belt out and actually only be filling it halfway. So quick scan through. We're looking for any place where we've got empty. Yep. So we are not getting red chips. Logistic storage has 4,000 in it. These guys are programmed to only move processing units onto the belt if we have more than 8,000. So we need to make sure our processing units are configured properly for that. So processing units comes out to this belt and stops, and these guys say, if you're less than 4,000, there we go. So basically we were putting out enough to have stock, but not enough to have stuff on the belt. I'm going to let you guys go up to 12,000. Now each one of these boxes holds 4,000, so we can go over 4,000 each box, which means we can go over 8,000 total. There, put that one down there so we can document what we're doing here. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we're going to get blue belts in. Blue chips. Green chips and red chips appear to be okay. Of course, blue appeared to be okay until we used a bunch. Mostly we're using blues out of the logistics, but you notice the blue belt is what's going on to do rockets. So eventually we would have lost our launch capability there. So it's good to fix that. Low density structures. We've got these down here. We're picking up low density structures from logistics. We have 153,000 of them. I do not know why we have so many so many low density structures in the logistics network. Let's search for them. Casting low density structure here. So these guys are all casting, and they're always just sending their output out to the belt. And the belt comes down to here, and so we are unconstrained. I'm looking for where we pick up stuff from the belt and put it into the logistics network. There's somewhere we are doing that where we are not constraining ourselves. Okay, here's where we are setting up the parallel belt from logistics. We've got a splitter in here. I set this up this way so that we would prefer to drain the logistics network. Going to the south, this goes to our rocket area. And these are all normal boxes, so we're not putting anything out to logistics network here. That's good. The other line, okay, we go out here. And this just stops, so we're not inserting the logistics network there. Okay, let's look up here. So LDS being fed into yellow science. Nope, that's not doing it. Okay, so apparently nobody's being naughty, so it must have been that when I picked up stuff earlier, I just picked up that many that were sitting in boxes and assemblers and belts and so on. We never really used it because we've been using it off of the belt. So yeah, look at all of that. Let's actually set up a specialized area that will pick up our LDSs, and then we'll convert those into boxes. So let's see. I want to put in a green box. And you are going to request in all the LDSs you can hold. and then some. Now we have a total of 150,000. How many stacks is that? Well, that's more stacks than we've gotten picked up so far. So as long as these guys are filled, we're good. Okay, these are not completely filled, which means we now have all of our LDSs in here somewhere. This also means that wherever we are requesting it, we need to make sure we're requesting it with request from buffer chests. Well, I will put some of these back down there. 152,000. Hold on. That's 3,000 stacks, which is 62 boxes. Oh, good Lord. Okay, so we now have 64 boxes reserved to hold LDS. Oh, yeah, here it was up here. And it's a good thing that I have 20,000 logistic robots. Oh, that's convenient. I just saw that pin button, and it pins the result right here. And that gives me something I can click on here, and it gives me an arrow up there. Cool. Now we just need to wait for all of these to be emptied. What else do we have enormous numbers of, as long as we're looking? Steel and electric engine units, those are really useful exports. So, yay. In fact, all of these are really useful. I haven't been really careful about recycling things when I pick them up. They've just been going into storage and staying there. Oh, and here's part of it. So we have a number of places where we're doing things like this. So, you know, we're making cargo bays, and then if we've got too many cargo bays, we're recycling them. And that's giving us those 3 items. So as long as we were not pulling from logistics to put on the bus, we were just having more and more of those items, and that guys, those guys. So that's why we have so many electric engine units and LDSs. That makes sense. Okay. Now, if we were thinking when we did this, I would have set up a blueprint to build a thing that then recycled the thing and took the recycled stuff back to build more things. Anyway, I was not that careful. This should help. And because you get back a quarter of the materials, over time, these 2 inserters, these 2 guys should be doing the right thing. You're saying build until we have 100 rare asteroid collectors. Well, goodness, that's cool that we've got that. Do I want more than that? I think that's good. You are building until you have 100 rare cargo bays. Okay. We end up with a whole bunch of these guys. Let's set those up like that. We may also want to do something like these for recycling the uncommons, but then we end up with uncommon components, and what do you do with those? You have to put up oh, could do that. We could set up a whole production line for upcycling, especially since I think we have unlocked the higher quality levels, haven't we? Yes, we have unlocked legendary quality. How about I design an upcycler to build something at higher quality, higher and higher quality, and we'll just see if we can make this work. I am going to start off with an assembler here. We're going to assemble a thing. I'm going to set this up for something that I want to build. Let's do... what do I want to build epic of first? How about some grabbers? Epic grabbers. Space. You're building asteroid collectors. Now we are going to be changing this up by quite a bit. I think I've found something to record for the rest of this episode. How about pull in my base carry so we can do stuff. I have sorely neglected my setup here. Okay, so upcycling. I'm going to grab you. I want to start working with the nice Mark III quality modules. We're going to put those in there. And we're going to connect this, and I'm going to say keep going until the number of epic asteroid collectors is 100. And we are not going to make these outputs conditional. So whatever you turn out, we're putting in there. Why do I think I'm getting myself into trouble here? Your filter has to be any quality, so we're going to toss out anything. So we're going to do the same thing, except this time what I want to do is I want to say, oh, I need to add quality to everything. Okay, so we just need to put a new one down. Okay, so you are making asteroid grabbers at uncommon quality, which means you're taking in the uncommon ingredients. No, let's just copy that down. A lot of this stuff is going to be the same. The condition is the same. The recipe changes. I'm just going to do that to get the ingredients in. Oh, let's take the condition off of that. So let's just do this by hand, I guess. Requester chest, blue. You should be X1 right now. So those are our inputs. In every case, our output's going to be this. You change your recipe to rares. I know we could probably program all this up so that they dynamically switched around, so we need fewer of them, but I'm not feeling it. Okay, so we've got that. So these will turn out things of various qualities. What I want to do is I want to start recycling. Each one of these levels, other than the top, what we want to do is have one recycler, I guess, per oh, the only ones that we want to keep are that guy. Hold on. What if I put all these on belts? So here's all of the outputs here. Okay, so here's all of the ones that we make that are probably not what we want. I'm literally only going to keep the epics. We're just going to recycle everything else. This guy is going to be filtering on legendaries. We're going to put legendaries out here at the end, so if the legendary comes out here, it's going to be picked up. Let's do 6 of these. Okay. Yeah, and we want to do a filter here that says not legendary, so less than legendary. It's less than legendary, we are going to recycle it. That'll put out the materials that'll go back over here to make more. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do one more thing. I am going to try to get better quality components when I do the recycling. There we go. So this guy isn't running because he can't find LDSs. There's 145,000 LDS in storage. Are you telling me you can't find any? Oh, request from buffer chests, right. So these guys are only going to trick off once in a while, once in a very long while. Now, what if I grab this whole thing, make it a blueprint, And I'm going to make this a parameter. And these are my 3 ingredients. So we're going to have, this is a parameter 0, parameter 1's ingredient of 0, parameter 2's ingredient of 0, parameter 3's ingredient of 0. Oops. Let's do this right. So this guy is, oh, right. This is the recipe. This product. And this is the amount of product. Epic quantity. I'm going to make both these parameters. So how many do you want and what do you want? This is going to be the first ingredient. And this is quantity of first ingredient. I'm going to say P1 underscore S. We're going to get 1 stack of the first ingredient. There's the second ingredient. So, there we go. And the third ingredient. Boom. So if I were to place this down and ask for, whoops, parameter 3 is not, it's not documented. Parameter 3 is ingredient of 0. There we go. See blueprint. Drop this back down on here to see if it reprograms it properly. We're doing asteroid collectors. And it's not correct. Notice this one is the wrong quality. Okay. Grab you. Yep, see, it was the wrong quality in the blueprint. New contents. Boom. Now that's correct. Need to put this back in. Epic quantity is there. Product. This is parameter 1. Parameter 2. And parameter 3. Let's try that again. That looks correct. Okay. Next thing that I want to up quality. Let's go ahead and do cargo bays because I've already expressed interest in those. What else might be fun to upscale? How about substations? Better substations sound like they might be fun. Oh, and we could also see if we can get some epic electric poles. This is really just to see if it works. Okay. So now we should be able to look at uncommons. These are occasionally getting built, as we did get some built earlier out of random chance, but now we're actually digging for it harder. Rares. Over the last 50 hours, we've had a few rares come in. And we already have some epics that have been built. Holy Toledo. We actually have a legendary asteroid collector. Okay, so legendary is storage size is 64 instead of 39, so we can store more asteroids before putting them on the belt. Not important for our designs. Collection area goes up to 25 by 25, so that's huge. Arm speed goes up from 43 to 54, pretty good. But the arm count, we have 6 arms coming out of the legendaries. That's wonderful. So these are neat. Now I think when it gives me the quality items coming out the other end, if these items are higher quality, it should average out to where I'm taking all of the outputs and recycling it. But I'm not sure. It does 25% of the inputs. So if we're looking at this, this says that we would get 4 steel plates and 1 1/4 processing units and 4 LDSs, and that's plus or minus randoms. The processing units obviously are going to vary from time to time. So, good question as to what these actually will do. Now, if this were running at max speed, then for 48 cargo bays input, here's what we would get on the output. Now, if we wanted to be cute, what we do is set up these guys so that we only recycle items if we have more than a certain number in the logistics network. But I'm thinking that this production line exists only to make legendaries. We're not going to be siphoning anything else out of it, so we're good. But that does tell me that if something got by these, well, this guy would pick it up. I can do this just in case. So if none of the inserters grabs it, we will manage to do stuff. So let's put in not really necessary. I think it kind of looks neat though. And the bulk inserters, I don't think the bulk inserters make any difference, so I'm not going to actually change anything about the blueprint on this. The bulk inserters will only be interesting if we got several out at a time. I don't think we ever do that. I'm not even sure we need more than one of these. In fact, I'm pretty sure that we take all of these together. These could, in theory, turn out 120 per minute of each. And this can grab 960 of them and process them. So yeah, we don't actually need all of that. Anyway, it's kind of interesting to have it. I'll go ahead and use the bulk inserters. Actually, let's hit this with the standard upgrade. And I'm going to efficiency mod. Oh, let's productivity module everybody. In fact, let's do prod module 3s in all of these guys. I'm going to do a new one just to prod 3 of these guys. And I also need to put in. Okay, so here's our new upgrade. So we're going to grab all of our assembling machines. These guys, assembling machines, are now going to have. Let's put quality modules in them. Well, let's see. Quality modules would mean increasing the quality. Prod would turn out the stuff with fewer inputs. Might be better to put prod in than. No, I do need to do quality here. Never mind. It's not going to work if I don't do quality somewhere. And I don't want to just do quality in the other ones. Let's put quality everywhere. And recycler. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, without the quality modules, in this first one, we would only be getting out the normal stuff. We might get higher quality ingredients, maybe, but this will be even better. There's probably math on whether it's better to go with the quality modules or the productivity modules in them all. Probably these guys should just be productivity, since you can't go any higher quality. Let's request in some productivity 3s. Oh, I can't productivity these anyway. Never mind. No, it doesn't make any sense to put quality modules in these bottom guys. No need to waste them. Okay, so we've been messing around here on Nauvis. Let's take a look at one of the other planets and see if there's something useful to mess around with on one of the other ones. Vulcanus. How are we doing on Vulcanus? So, tungsten ore down here, 5.5 million, 4.9 left, so we're doing good there. We most recently set up these things to get us more stone by dealing with any excess plate, and looks like those are triggering like crazy. So recycling plate, because we have a full tank of molten iron, and by recycling plate, that's forcing us to run our machines up here. Not often, though. Yeah, this much recycling doesn't give us a whole lot of stuff. But if we look at our stone production, this says that for the past 6 hours, we have been maintaining a level of stone production here that's pretty good. So I will call this a win. Why are you guys not taking part? There we go. And the other ones were up here. These guys aren't tricking off. Okay. Because this tank is empty. Because we are making so many things on this line that we are draining the tank. Yeah, that molten copper line is empty. We've got plenty of lava. Oh, it looks like your stone isn't being harvested. Your stone boxes are full. Uh-oh. I forgot about that. I'm going to say 500, 2,000. Let's say 1,000 stone here. Trash unrequested. There we go. Okay, so what happened there was we changed the base so that it held on to more stone. So whatever buffer chest we weren't actively taking from, we're going to fill up, so we ended up not making a lot of the molten stuff here. That's unfortunate. These guys weren't moving the stone out because we had only 13K in logistics network, but the box was full, so this guy couldn't run. There we go. So there's the deadlock fixed. So now we should start getting copper made. Iron's been okay. It's just the copper that we ended up deadlocking on. So what happened was we filled up the green boxes on all of the copper guys. But at least some of the green boxes on the iron guys weren't full, so it was able to keep making. Now we're making more copper. Yay! So that would have shut down production of science and foundries and... no, not steel, just stuff that uses the copper. Copper plate, science foundries, old copper plate, old copper coils. We've got copper plate and coils elsewhere. But yeah, shutting down our foundry production and our science production. Wait, no, foundries don't use copper. Yeah, it shut down our science production, okay. We may not be using electromagnetic science. Well, we are for this. Okay. Oh, we're almost done with the 3s. Let's put the 4s in. I am going to skip the health thing so that the rest of these will fit. There we go. Hey, so it's good we came out to visit Vulcanus. We certainly have a lot of iron ore. Why do we have iron ore here? I'm a little confused. So let's see, iron ore. We can't mine it. We're not getting it from any of that. We must have sent it down from a platform. Oh, probably so we can make concrete. Okay. But why so much? We're not requesting it now. Actually, we're not requesting anything now. That's odd. Yeah, we got 45K iron ore on Vulcanus, and it's just sitting there. I suppose we could melt it, although, you know, we've got all the iron we want by just running the lava into the machines. Hello, Mr. Demolisher. Okay, so there we go. Look at our stone again. So we went from that level up to that level. Just bopping around up here as we fill up tanks and such, and now we're up here making 2.4K stone per minute. And this iron plate here includes melting, and there's copper plate. We're now melting the copper plate into, well, getting rid of the copper plate. There we go. Okay, so Gleba. Is there anything of note on Gleba? Well, first of all, these guys doing pretty good. I got the special soil out, so they now have their full areas. These guys overlap. I could move them so they are not overlapping each other, but that's all right. Okay, let's look at the base one by one. We have our biochambers making bioflux. These are just crunching right along. It's kind of hard to tell if things are backed up in these guys. Our metals. Here's our current molten metal stocks. And we can see that we have shut down production of the molten metal until we're ready to go again. So we've got zeros for our ore quantities and our bacteria quantities. That's good. So up here, science production, huzzah! So we've got nutrients cycling through here. We've got all these machines growing more eggs. Come down here, we're making more science here. That's actually just going to run forever. And we are... The nutrients get one chance, one chance only to get picked up. And if they don't get picked up, we burn them. In fact, anything that comes along here that can be burned, we burn them. And we've got a couple of different ways of doing that. Stuff coming from the middle here. So all of our spoilage gets put out in the middle. Those get burned. And then down at the bottom here, if anything sneaks past these guys, they get recycled here, and it comes back up to here where we get burned too. That's good. Science all goes in these, with the possibility of, if the science turns into spoilage, we're there. Okay, so that looks good. You're running happily. You are doing what? Rocket fuel. Currently paused because we have 800 rocket fuel in logistics. We are keeping a nice supply of materials out there to make rocket fuel from. Spoilage is taken care of. Everybody looks good. Okay. Power. Nuclear reactor. Someday we may put fusion on Gleba. I don't know. Maybe. Have to import the fuel, though. Don't know if I want to do that. We've got some miscellaneous stuff down here. I don't care whether these are running or not, but it looks like we've got some quantities in their output bins, which is what we want. Okay. Pentapod eggs / biochambers. This is that recycling mechanism that I picked up a while back. I think Avadi did this. And what we do is we say, make some egg. He gets one egg, cycles back through. If we have enough biochambers, then we activate this guy, which will occasionally pull eggs out of the loop. Once we've pulled all the eggs out of the loop, we will stop making biochambers. And if we start using biochambers, eventually it will kick off the recycling. And all these are going well. Notice these guys, this one is in a stopped condition. So we have no eggs. That's good. And we have 512 biochambers ready to go. So we need to chew that down to 80 before we kick this off again. Now this guy, he's got a ton of these, but there's still two pentapod eggs in here. So we're going to keep making things until this guy sends out a pentapod egg and they get taken care of. Apparently, this just keeps going forever at this point. Well, as long as it keeps cycling, the egg stays fresh. So I'm happy with that. It does mean that we're going to get an unbounded number of biochambers out of this guy, and that's not good. Let's see if upgrading upgrading this to a bulk will drain that loop a little better. The other thing we can do is we can make these other ones conditional with the reverse condition from him. So instead of this, we can invert it. We'll force the eggs through. Okay, I think I just saw this do a better job of draining. And you're not stopped. Okay. There we go. Okay. That's reversed. Ah. Haha. Right, because they're flipped. So H, do that. So if we have a lot of them, it goes that way. And if we don't have a lot of them, it goes that way. One egg. No eggs. Should drain these out nicely. Now, the thing is, these guys up here, this is just used for recycling. So what we really want to do is say 40 here. Whoops, oh, wait, hold on. Okay, this guy only inserts if we have 40, so it's... Yeah, these are controlled. This can back up, and when it does, we end up with this filled up here. Need to get some of these guys out of here. Let's get a purple chest out there. So your condition is going to be number of biochambers in that red box. Is greater than 800. We're just taking care of overflow here. set up that stuff in all of them. Okay, so now these machines won't end up with a biochamber. Good. So glad we came out to Gleba. That got that fixed. This is our landfill slash fancy soil. So this is the artificial jelly nut soil. And then we have the overgrowth. We only do the overgrowth if we manually bring in some biter eggs. And these guys are all set up in case we've got biter eggs in there. Okay. Up here. Sulfuric acid. Okay. Little teeny sulfuric acid build is working just fine. We have our blue chip build. The green chips are red chips going into blue chips. Bada boom, bada bing. This is all very standard. Blue chips, and here's the LDS coming in. Rocket fuel being requested. That's good. And this keeps a agricultural science buffer. We're requesting up to 8,000 of it. Then we're saying if we have over 2.2K, grab the most spoiled ones and recycle it. So we keep the most fresh 2200 of Gleba Science ready to go so it can be picked up by these guys. Okay, that works. Down here, what the heck? It's like this didn't get built. Well, I obviously need it because I said to build it. How did I not notice that? Oh, I know what I did. I had these scheduled to be built, and then I had to go in and say, cancel everywhere you were putting in. Cancel everywhere you were putting in landfill. Okay, so you are now relative. But now we have landfill, so we can do that. Surprised I never noticed that when I was coming back to review Gleba. It was right here next to the rockets. And it is a neat source of bioflux that we need to keep going. Okay, so that's got that. Down here, we are making agricultural towers. We have 100 of them. We are making burnt spoilage for carbon. Oops. So basically, these guys run until we have 100 carbon. What did I need? I needed carbon for something up here. I'm not sure where I needed the carbon for. I'm sure we'll find it. Was this it? Yeah, this was it. Okay. This is our carbon fiber. So we can see that we have been making carbon fiber and tossing it in this box. And if we have more than 1,100 carbon fiber, the rest of it gets sent off into these belts, which merges it back onto the main belt. Okay, so this keeps a buffer and has a belt of carbon fiber output to go somewhere. I thought it needed to go somewhere, and I was wrong. It needs to be exported. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the amount that we send. I'm going to put 4,000 in here. And these are going to say if we get more than 4,100, then we're going to put them on the output belt. So that'll have more carbon fiber ready to export. That makes sense. Okay, storage area. Landfill and brick. These guys have no resources. Why have they not been picked up? In fact, this whole mine... There we go. That whole mining area can go away. Let's just put down that one thing on grid. Okay, these are the original fruit processing lines. And they are now set up so that we only route the fruit here if we have a bunch of both of them. Okay, this logic here, this says if we have at least 1,000 Yumako and 1,000 jelly nut, then we're going to activate all of our recycler chests, which will allow us to do all of these guys and bring them in pairs so that these can run. If we just had one of them, then we wouldn't be doing our nutrient very well. But notice that we have, right now, we have a lot more jelly nut than Yumako. Now earlier I had a lot more Yumako than jelly nut, so we added more jelly nut farms and we got a lot more the other way. So it goes back and forth. Notice this guy is going up and down a little bit. So what happens is when we get a harvest of Yumako, these will pop up and start grabbing more of it to turn out the seeds. It's mainly to process the fruit to get the seeds out. Okay. Next thing. Here we are producing all of the inserters, and they are all paused because we have built all of the inserters. This is our stack inserters for export. And it is building 150 stack inserters a minute, which is decent for export. Okay, that's good. Can these guys only be made... Can they only be made on Gleba? If I oh, jelly. Yeah. Yeah. So if we could export jelly, we could make it somewhere else, but we only have 4 minutes to get the jelly to where we're going. So this pretty much is just Gleba. Okay. In practice, I've always had enough white inserters, so I don't feel the need to increase that production. So there's our review of Gleba. Okay. Fulgora. So something I say every time I come back to Fulgora is we need to do a better sorter and we need to start doing some quality stuff here, because this is where we should be doing quality, but we're not. But nobody is asking for higher quality exports. So for instance, we're not asking for higher quality electromagnetic plants to be produced anywhere. We don't need higher quality of most of these. We could probably do higher quality Tesla turrets. Doesn't really matter. As long as we are getting the exports of the superconductors and the holmium plate, that's really the important ones from here, is the superconductors and the holmium plate and the science. And that's all just purring right along. So while I still think that we need to redesign the sorter properly, as it is right now, basically when we do crank up scrapping the recycling the scrap, nothing gets to the sorter. Pretty much nothing gets to the sorter. Gleba Base is mostly idle. We're not drawing down on the things that it produces. And it is currently not importing anything. So you're basically doing nothing. Okay. You're producing science and that's it. Now here's our mechanism that we were using to make slightly higher quality accumulators. And we could step all these up to Mark IIIs and all that, but later on when we come back here to build a bigger Gleba Base, if we do, we could do that. I think we don't need to do any real work on Gleba. And that brings us back to Aquilo, which is steadily making progress on building out our larger main base area. I'm going to empty my thingies here. Okay, I've been thinking about trains on Aquilo, so with that in mind, we could start importing train stuff. The thing I'm going to do is lay out some more yellow boxes, and let's actually import goodies so that we can make trains. Let's see, rail, 100 rail per rocket. We need to decide what we're going to import here. And that uses stone, steel plate, and iron sticks. All of which we actually have available. We have to import the stone. So we have to import all of it. I think I'm just going to import all of the rail stuff for now. So every trip I want to get 1,000 rail in, and I want to get a rocket worth of, one ramp per rocket. No, we're not importing those. We're gonna have to make those. We're gonna have to make those guys. So in order to make these, we need steel plate, rail, and refined concrete. So refined concrete's the big thing. Refined concrete uses all of that stuff. It has decent rocket capacity. We can directly import refined concrete. We are directly importing refined concrete. I'm going to bring that up from 2,000 to 5,000. Okay. Train stops. Going to bring a rocket worth of those. And we're going to get 3 rockets of each of those. I think I'm just going to go ahead and import locomotives and cargo wagons and fluid wagons, 5 at a time. Each trip will get a few. This will drip feed us. And that leaves a couple of things that we didn't set up. Where did we go here? So this guy, we are making rail ramps. And we are making rail supports. We need a lot more rail supports. I'm going to go for 1,000 of them. There we go. So over time, this will slowly drip feed materials into this base so we can build rails. I'm betting that we'll need these to take our rails out over the edge here. In fact, let's check that. If I do rail, how about that? Yes, we can do this kind of rail out like this. I don't think it's putting ice in there. We can come back and look at that later, but I want to see if it uses the ice platform underneath the feet of these rail supports. So this is just kind of to show us, you know, what's going to happen. Okay, this has been happening. What happens is we build up damage on this front edge. I put these here before. We were actually losing turrets occasionally. Over time, we build up damage on these guys, and despite the fact that I have all sorts of repair packs in here, it doesn't seem to be doing repairs to these guys. See if I can watch it actually take some damage here. Probably need to catch it coming away from Aquilo to see damage on these guys. Anyway, I think that's got us set up so we can then let this run for a bit. This base will continue to expand its territory here. It will expand its numbers of robots. How are we doing with those? We currently have 616. It's probably 600-ish. So this says we want 600. Yeah, we've got 600 robots moving around, and we're not running out. Which means this is enough robots for us to make progress. More robots than this, I don't think are going to make it go any faster because we're not actually dipping into them. Hey, we've already put in rail supports. Cool. I wonder if we could actually put a machine in here to make rails as well. That's actually a good idea. Let's do that. So maybe we don't have to import all of our rails. You are building rail. And our stock quantity on rails is 2,000 because we're going to need a lot of rail. And efficiency you guys up. There we go. And apparently we do have materials on hand. So while we're going to be importing a bunch of that stuff, we also are going to make it locally, which means that we'll only actually pull it in from the import if we can't keep up with production here. And it also gives a jump start. Surprised the rail ramp hasn't kicked in yet. Is there some reason we haven't built a rail ramp? You're waiting on refined concrete. Okay, that was just by chance. Okay, cool. Interesting that the rail ramp fits just inside one of our normal blocks. Of course, this is going to interrupt our heat pipes when we do put the stations in, wherever we do those. So let's take this out. I want to see if it put in... Let's see if it put in any platform stuff, or if this just sinks right down into the ocean. Nope. Okay, so we don't have to make ice platforms to put raised rail over. We just have to have a whole bunch of refined concrete. Well, that's fine. Get rid of you and all of you guys. You are experiment complete. And let's call that a recording. We're parked here on Nauvis. Everybody seems to be copacetic. We have all the 4s are up. I think I had one of them. There we go. So all the 4s are researching. I'm going to let this continue. Basically, we're going to twiddle our thumbs and just do small improvements to bases until Aquilo is ready to support making the fusion power stuff. I will see you in the next recording, which will either be when that's ready or when I come up with something else I want to do before then. Who knows? That may be a day or two. Who knows? See you then.